31st, 2019. It's Halloween, and I'm dressed up as a trader who cares about you. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything. I didn't get dressed up this year. A lot of people did. I didn't. I don't know why. Vicky, why didn't you get dressed up? Because you did it on the weekend. I saw a picture of you, and yeah, it looked good. Victoria went out with a special somebody, and they looked great. I might have liked the picture too. I don't know. I should have. I was a little bit. All right. So this morning we got a lot to talk about. We're going to break down the Federal Reserve and what happened. All right. Let's talk about some news that broke in China this morning, causing weakness in the stock market. Impeachment vote begins today. And that's it. And some stats about Halloween. Actually, let's kick it off with the Halloween stats. It's a little bit of an easier, lighter start. More than 172 million Americans plan to celebrate Halloween this year. Do you plan to celebrate it? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Is this something that you still do? Do you take your children out? Do you usually have treats for the children? I live in an apartment style building in a loft, and so not many people go trick or treating. But you know what? I should buy some candy because who knows? All right. And 172 million Americans are expected to spend $8.8 billion on the holiday, the third highest figure in the survey's 15-year history. All right, after the record $9.1 billion that was set in 2017. So there you have it. Trick-or-treating is still a thing. Let's talk about Jerome Powell. Let's take it back to markets. Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve seem to have walked a fine line on Wednesday. All right, and that's the line between delivering a third insurance. But what they did was they delivered a third insurance cut of the year. All right, while signaling that may be it. So they kind of walked the fine line of, here you go, market, here's a rate cut, that might be it, kind of thing, without saying definitely that there's no more rate cuts. Markets pricing in very low probability of a rate cut in their next meeting on December 11th. All right, pretty much the whole thing went as expected, and the stock market took it in stride. It ripped to highs afterwards. Here's the one thing that really started to push the stock market up, when he said that they're in no rush to tighten policy. So Jerome Powell basically said, look, we're probably not going to raise rates anymore. However, we're not considering a hike either. And the news, how that was bullish, is because, remember, this is supposed to be a mid-cycle adjustment, meaning that we're in the middle of the cycle, cut a few times, get back to the cycle, analyze data, and look for potentially more rate cuts to continue the cycle upward. But him saying that they're not looking to tighten at all means that it's probably not a mid-cycle adjustment. It's more of a couple of rate cuts. Let's be patient. Let's wait for more data. And rather than leaning towards cutting rates or leaning towards raising rates, Jerome Powell just took the right down the middle approach of we'll wait and see style, which is really good for him because he's really learning and settling into the role as Fed chair. Early on in a few of his conferences, he dropped some bombshells accidentally. Now looks like the PR team got to him. He's not really saying much. It was a rather boring report. It was a hawkish but dovish, but kind of hawkish, not so dovish at the same time. All right. That conflicted with the tone of Japan, which this morning or last night, depending on which part of the world you're at, said that they're considering cutting rates again and will consider to cut them and do whatever it takes for the long term. They're not considering at all raising rates. They're on the cut cycle. Also, today is Mario Draghi's last day in the European Central Bank. Vicky, let's send Mario Draghi a card. Yeah, a gift card. He's done. Today's the last day. There'll be cake apparently at 3 p.m. You want to fly over and have some? Victoria and I are going to do something to thank Draghi for his market volatility. All right. On to some not so fun news. 5:05 a.m. this morning, a news story broke out of China. China said the following. I got to turn my phone. I have notes, believe it or not. Look, notes. China said to be doubtful about the possibility. China is said to be doubtful about the long-term possibility of a trade deal with U.S. and Donald Trump, particularly. Said that they're unwilling to budge on big structural changes, and they said that they demand an end to tariffs before any phase 2 talks even begin. All right. China also expressed concern that Donald Trump has a bit of an impulsive nature, in quotation marks, and the risk that may come out of a phase 1 deal is that he doesn't even sign it if they do agree. They don't trust him and see him as a little bit impulsive. That's their view. And so this negotiation, once again, oh my God, shock, we've hit a little bit of a roadblock. I've been saying this forever. I don't think this deal is going to get done while Donald Trump's in office, especially this term. He wins a second term, then what's going to end up happening is he's going to get more aggressive. China's not going to trust him even more, and a global recession will probably happen, and it could be even worse. China's already in a recession. So manufacturing numbers came out that were pretty bad. and their economy is deteriorating real quick, 0 to 100. All right, in reaction, the E-mini sold off from 30.50 down to 39, 11-point drop. US dollar Jap yen fell quite a bit. Spot gold rose about $3 an ounce, and December futures, it's called DECE in the business, 129.21 to 129.25 plus. So we had a 4 bips move to the upside. All right, that was the immediate reaction at 5 a.m. this morning. That's why you're seeing a little bit of selling off this morning. However, futures still did hit an all-time high of 3,055 on the S&P 500 futures. All right, today we begin an impeachment vote. House leaders are expected to vote between 10:30 and 11:30 a.m. It's a step towards authorizing Donald Trump's impeachment. No one thinks that this is going to be like, a vote that passes through and then the impeachment's done. This is the beginning of a long and drawn out process. All right. But ultimately, that's where the House is headed. They want to begin their impeachment probe. They're doing an official vote today at 10:30. All right. Futures down. Dow Jones almost down 100 points before the open. That's what we're kind of looking at. So we're seeing a little bit of selling off on this Chinese news. And you know what? After running to an all-time high of 30.55 on the dovish, but somewhat hawkish, but not so hawkish, still slightly dovish, but still a hawk Federal Reserve announcement. And it's not QE. Don't you dare call it QE. We run up to 30.55, which is pretty good because after that news event, we're trading about the 31s. So we did about a 24-point rally overnight, and then quickly this morning at 5 a.m. we faded those gains on the Chinese news. So today we retested the area where the FOMC event was at, and there's quite a bit of support here at the 36 to 38 on the SPOOs based on the 5-day POC. All right, that's where we're sitting at. I expect to see a little bit less volatility today, maybe a little bit quieter. We'll see, but I think we're going to open up the downside. All right, last night Apple had great earnings. iPhones and wearables drove the beat. Huge gains. Awesome report by Apple. It smashed earnings. Facebook even annihilated it more. Facebook's up 4.6% pre-market after double-digit Q3 gains. That's a very strong report. General Electric up 11% on future guidance. Lyft lifted 2.2%, blasting and exceeding its sales targets, which is great. Starbucks up 3% on strong U.S. and China sales, and that's where the good news ends. Western Digital down 10%. They announced the CEO succession plan, which means there's going to be transition in the leadership, which oftentimes leads to transition in everything else, in culture and strategy and just about everything that you can imagine. All right, in today's markets, in Asia, Japan's up 0.4%, Hong Kong's up 0.9%, China down 0.4%, India up 0.2%. So modest gains here in Asia. In Europe, that fun is over. London's down 1%, Paris is down 0.6%, Frankfurt down 0.5%. In the U.S., everything's down 0.4%. Coincidentally, Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ, because it makes it really easy for me to read. Crude oil is down this morning, slightly 0.3%. The open was around the 43. Actually, it was at the 43 right at the previous day low, and we just punched a new intraday low around 9:01 a.m. at the pit open. We're trying to do it again. 54 to downside is a nice target. Not much inventory below. All right. Gold up 0.8%. Where's gold at? Gold now trading. The overnight high was 15.12. The open was 15.0890, and it's sort of in between the overnight high and the opening price. Bitcoin's down 2%. All right, and trading low 9,000s. Today's economic calendar, we had initial jobless claims. They came out as follows. 218,000 was the actual number based on 215 expected. The low end of the range was 210. The high end was 220. Therefore, we fell in line with what the expectation was, but a little bit more people, or 3,000 more people than expected, filed for unemployment claims, which is not good. The previous number was 213, so it's a little bit higher than the previous, but not significantly higher enough that it will cause you to panic. All right, I think the market's going to shrug this off. For the rest of the day, the economic calendar is pretty light. 9:45, we have Chicago PMI, which used to be a huge market mover. Now nobody cares anymore about the Chicago PMI. Ever since the Cubs won, people they're still partying. Which, by the way, the Nationals won for the first time ever. Good for them yesterday. 10:30 natural gas inventory. 3 p.m. farm prices. That's going to be a huge market mover. I suggest every single person today watches farm prices. Just kidding. 4:30 money supply on the Fed balance sheet. Today, the goal is going to be this. Are we going to hold support? How detrimental will this China news be? Or are we just going to float back to new all-time highs? I think we're going to have a little bit of early morning selling. Support level for me is down 33 to 38. Anywhere in that area should catch a bit of a support. It already has twice this morning. So the next thing is a launching pad through the all-time high. There's a lot of sellers right now sitting right at the all-time high. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. Lower volatility they expected. Tomorrow we have a big news report, non-farm payrolls, and we're going to trade that live with their elite team. All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. Manage your risk, trade like a trade pro. Let me take 1 or 2 minutes max and see what YouTube is saying here. I didn't know that, Rami. Rami says it's a satanic celebration. I don't like it. I'm assuming you're not going to be doing any Halloween stuff then. Slim Jim is dressing up as Jerome Powell. That's epic. You know, I was thinking about that, Slim Jim. I couldn't pull it off. You know, I have some gray. Look, I have some salt in my hair. You see that? Salt and pepper. George Clooney look. It's very attractive, say the females. My wife goes as security guard, and I go as Austin Matthews. Bob, you get the win of the day, brother. That's good. What was the size of the offer at 37 that got taken yesterday where bids are showing up now? 34. I mean, come on, Bourbon. I gotta go back on the charts and check. I vaguely remember it was pretty sizable. I think 1260 at one point. Join the room. You'll find out. You guys take care. Love you all. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Happy Halloween if you celebrate it. And be safe out there. Be good. Manage your risk, trade pro. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. And have a great rest of your days. Now we open up the trade room. Take care. Goodbye. All right, trade pros, the room. Let's get started. I'll give you some levels and some trade ideas for the day, and then we're going to just do them together as the market unfolds. Right, Vic? Good man. Let's get started with